roll?
Oh man, absolutely roll all day long. Not a chance. It's quite a funny story actually. It involves Josh. So Josh was fastest on the Tuesday of first practice last year, and I seen a video of Josh going through Station Corner, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, I'm sure he went through there flat. You know what I mean? Like, the Ducati was just like, wow, like straight through. And I was like, at the time, I think I was like, back one in, you know. Admittedly, I have never gone through there flat. And even on the Super Twin, well, I could have gone through flat, but the thing revved that hard that I was worried I was going to break the engine. So even then, I rolled to save the engine. So stock bike, never been flat. Super bike, never been flat. Super Twin, it could be flat, but out of respect to engine, never been flat. And I've done all right, so I'm fine with saying I don't go flat.
I'm surprised you said you admitted to going back one, because we was in the van with James Hillier going round with Shannon doing the lap, Shannon's first time. So he's going through it. So you go back one through here? He was like, no. Shaz's face was like, really? He couldn't understand it. What about you, Pete?
Yeah, I've done it flat on various bikes. The Superbike is getting a little bit harder to do it flat because they're getting faster somehow. I don't quite know how they're getting faster, but they seem to be getting faster all the time. But yeah, I first did it flat in my second year. So my first year was 2014. I missed 2015 because I had some broken bones. And I went back in 16, and in 16 I did station flat on the Stocker and the Superbike, which I did
massive.
Which I
think that's well documented.
I didn't think anything of it at the time. Like, for me, I was just like, I think I could do it flat. And the next lap I did it flat, and I didn't really think anything of it. And then somebody else, one of the other riders somewhere, was talking about, I've just done station. One of the experienced riders, so I've just done station flat for the first time, and I was thinking, well, I've just done that. Like, it's in my second year. Like, I worked it out fairly quickly. Yeah, it's possible, if needed, you could do it. And I've done it most of the time. The Stockers, you could do it, although again, the Stockers are getting faster and faster now. And a lot of the time, it's not necessarily because the corner's too tight to do it flat. It's about weight distribution on the bike. And if you don't dip the throttle, and you don't have enough weight forwards, you actually can lose the front anyway. So sometimes it's not because it's not possible to do it, it's because it's actually safer to just roll a little bit and go again. And there's another corner just after the railway section. I don't know the next right. I'm not sure if you do Church through under the railway bridge. There's a next right-hander. Yeah. And there's been a few twins crashed there recently. And I was asked, in fact, we were both asked, me and Josh were with Mervyn last week, I think it was, talking about all sorts of things and what can we do to improve safety, or what do we think to this corner or that corner. And Mervyn was saying, I'm not entirely sure why. There's been quite a few riders crash here, and it seems to be on the twins, which is unusual because the twins are slower bike. You can generally go through a flat out. There's quite a few bumps through that particular corner, and my comment was, from my experience of riding a twin, yes, you can do it flat out, but the problem with doing it flat out is all the weight's backwards. So you've got no weight on the front, and if you hit a bump, it goes away from you. All the other bikes are too fast to do it flat out, so you have to roll, in which case by rolling you've put the weight forwards, which means even if you hit the bump, it might be uncomfortable, but generally you've got the weight on there, so you've got more grip. And for me, that's why there's been a few riders crash, particularly on the Super Twins through that corner. And the same philosophy, physics can happen at station. You can do it flat out if you really want to or really have to. Is it always needed? Probably not. Does it really make that much difference? Probably not. Because you've got a big 2 mile straight after it where you can just slipstream someone and pass them anyway. So, yeah, it's possible. Do you always need to do it? No.
Josh?
I've definitely done it flat on 600.
Yep.
I think I've always done a comfort roll on the Superbike. And I think if it was misrecognised as going through flat, I think it's possible because I don't really want to chop the throttle and upset the bike and maybe cause a bit of a weave. So my comfort roll might be so soft, it's enough to sort of give me and myself the idea that I've rolled a bit and I'm ready to go back to the throttle. But if you were maybe watching an onboard or something or heard the noise, it would sound like the bike didn't change note.
Yeah.
But it was enough to give myself peace of mind that I've like rolled, little comfort roll, and then back to the throttle. So I don't think I've ever done the superbike. I don't know, but I don't think I've ever done the superbike flat, like to the stop.
No.
But but I endorse what's already been said there about the weighting of the bike. And
James Hillier said the same thing. It's not. It's nothing to do with being scared. There's nothing about. It's not commitment. It's literally settling the bike.
Yeah.
It's just that little roll off, and then probably at the apex, you're back on full gas anyway. It's
Before,
just
even
before.
Yeah, you literally comfort roll to get it to turn, and then full gas.
I think this is where people make mistakes. People, let's say if someone was trying to go flat out and they'd get to the middle of the corner and go, oh, I don't feel comfortable, and then shut the throttle, that would also be a negative point because you're changing the attitude of the bike right at the apex. Whereas, let's say experienced guys like ourselves, we'll roll with anticipation because we know what the corner's supposed to feel like. So we'll roll a bit earlier, and it might not be by much, but it's enough that then when you go back to the throttle, it's actually before the apex. So you drive through the apex with a positive bike on the road, and it gives you confidence that everything's under control. And you don't ever get that like uncomfortable feeling that I've gone in here too quick with too much speed and I've got to roll off at the worst possible moment.